Hello, this is April Grace. I didn't mean to leave you hanging, but I did. Sorry. No, this is a follow-up to my post-confession reflection where I talked about going to confession and how it prepared me to attend the cool sacrament of Holy Orders on Saturday. So I'm here now to tell you about the cool sacrament of Holy Orders that I went to on Saturday. Woo! So I'm pretty sure that you, like many other people, have heard during your prayers of the faithful for an increase of vocations to the priesthood and religious life. While I am 100% behind that, I also wish that they also said, and for an increase of holy marriages. Because everything's connected. You know, they all contribute to the community of the church. And we aren't going to have priests if we don't have families to give us priests. And this isn't some sort of like, oh, the church conspiracy, blah, blah, blah. We need people to, like, bring more people into the church, to have more children to bring into the church because we're just feeding our religion. This is we need people to minister the church. We don't have our sacraments if we don't have our priests. We aren't able to, partake in that little bit of heaven, of those graces that abound in the sacraments, if we don't have a priest to minister them. And so many people look to priests for guidance and direction and formation, and we really need that. So, an ordination, 5 new priests in the Diocese of Pittsburgh. I was incredibly excited because it was my first time attending the Sacrament of Holy Orders, and I knew 2 of the 5 priests that were getting ordained. And so, really epic at St. Paul's Cathedral in Pittsburgh, and being able to drive down with my church. And so, golly, where do I even begin? So we arrived there, I think, 45 minutes before the whole thing, and so there's lots of open seats and stuff. There's sections in the front set aside, reserved for family members and priests and deacons and stuff. So my fiance and I were able to find a seat really close, because everybody wants to be in the middle, and there's like 2 side aisles that are like more narrow, but we sat on the one side aisle, like the pew right behind the reserved part. We had a perfect view of the altar, and it was great. So I saw some seminarian friends there, and I just looked at all of the priests that were there. My goodness gracious, there were, oh gosh, at least 110 priests and at least 20 deacons, and then the 3 bishops, well, our bishop and the 2 auxiliary bishops, and then the 5 elect that became priests. So 110 became 115, which is amazing, and my gosh, there were so many people there. The cathedral was full almost to capacity, and the intimacy and the grace and the blessing of this great sacrament just abounded. Wow. I don't really know much about Holy Order, so I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't know if it was going to be a whole Mass, which it was, and I wasn't sure of any of the prayers or the significance of things in particular, but I knew that there would be some sort of laying on of hands, and that the orders and the graces and the apostolic succession would be passed down to these 5 amazing men. And so there were so many different little rituals and things, which if I had my program from the event, I could kind of go through. But I remember the 110 priests all came up and laid their hands on each of the 5 elect as a sign of their solidarity and welcoming them into the priesthood. And it was so amazing to see this very intimate ritual. Some of the priests were crying, and some of them were just joy-filled, some of them were very solemn, but this is a huge deal. And to see a couple of them just, when the time came to bring down their priestly vestments, I was just in awe. And the one in particular was actually from my parish, so that was amazing as well, to have someone representing our parish and having been formed in my parish community become a priest and answer God's vocation for him. It's just incredible. But there was a moment after he had received his vestments that I just got a very strong sense of he's father now. Not a seminarian, not, a really religious guy who spent all this time studying abroad and doing stuff and learning about religion and all these things. No, he is father now. He's a priest now. He has a great responsibility and blessing to us as his church community. This man is married to our church. The church is the bride of Christ, and this man has taken on the church as his bride. We are his family now. In a different way, actually. We've always been his family, but this is in a different relationship now. And it was wonderful. And to see the priests get their hands blessed with chrism and have their hands bound around like in prayer, accepting this responsibility, and then all of the priests, you know how at a part of Mass when you have a bunch of, there's a Mass celebrated by more than one priest, and when it comes time for the consecration of the Eucharist and the hosts and the transubstantiation and changing the bread and wine into the body and blood of Jesus, they all stand around the altar. Well, imagine that at a really ornately decorated space around the altar with 110 priests and 5 new priests. That's a lot of priests. That's 115. And then you add 3 more with the bishops. That's 118 people crowded around this altar, consecrating bread and wine into the body and blood of Jesus Christ. It's amazing. Wow. So that was very invigorating in terms of being filled with the Spirit and even recalling it. My golly, it's beautiful. And so when it came time to receive communion, I was very fortunate to have been in the line and have the new Father Tom, be assigned to where I was going to receive the Eucharist for the first time. It was incredible. And afterwards, there was a reception. I got to see so many people and wave hello to some priests that I knew and seminarians, and then running home. And then later that evening, I celebrated a reception of a wedding. So there were 2 sacraments of vocation that were happening in the same day, and that's a huge blessing. That's amazing. And so being able to partake in both of them to some degree, because I only went to the end of the reception. But the next day, I went to Mass at my parish where the new Father Tom celebrated his first Mass, and the bishop was present, which was awesome. A bunch of other priests were also present, and his family was present as well, and to just see him give of himself in saying the Mass and giving us the sacrament of the Eucharist gave me much hope for this new priest and for all of his new priestly brothers. It was just amazing. And at the very end, he explained that he has a stole, the little tassel thing that he wears, which I think was from his first confession, and the cloth that was used to bind his hands in prayer was used to wipe off the oil that the bishop had blessed on his hands. And he said the tradition was for the stole of his first confession to be given to his father, and the manitorium, I think is called, to be given to his mother. So that one day, as she went to heaven, God would ask her what she did with her life, and she would say, I give you a priest. She was going to be buried with it. And I cried. It wasn't a lot, but I cried. I was just so moved and was like, God, if you call me to be a mother, which I think you are, I would be more than happy to give you a priest, not just because of this opportunity to say I did something with my life, but because if you will it, I want to do that for you. If you will it, I want to do that for you. It's just, that Mass was probably about a little over an hour, and the reception, we stayed for at least 2 hours afterwards, just talking with people and celebrating this, and getting a first blessing from this new priest, and it was just incredible to be able to do so. And if you ever get the chance to go to an ordination, absolutely go. The duration is different for everyone. It's over an hour for sure. Some of them are 2 hours. The one that I went to was 2 hours and 45 minutes, but there was so much going on and such beautiful music. They had choir and brass instruments from like Carnegie, and just, it was very beautiful and moving and spiritual and spirit and everything. Wow. It's very powerful. Absolutely go. Thank you so much for listening to me tell you about my first ordination experience. Please pray for vocations to the priesthood, to religious life, and for holy marriages. Please pray for your discernment of vocation, because God has a vocation for all of us. And I guess in that way, I'm asking for you to pray, but I'm also going to pray for you, that God will guide you in discerning His vocation for you. You will be happy. You will be fulfilled, because you were created for a purpose, and God's going to help you find what that purpose is, because He knows. He's going to make sure that you know and understand, and all in a way that you will want to embrace this gift that He has for you, for your life. Peace of Christ be with you always. Ad Maiorem Dei Gloriam, and God bless. Oh, I'm going to have to stop. What's up, Mom? And stuff. And so